The story of Rahab, a tale of courage, faith, and redemption. The city of Jericho stood as an imposing fortress in the heart of Canaan, its thick walls a symbol of security and defiance against any invader. Life inside the city was bustling, but beneath the surface, the people lived in fear. Word of the Israelites had spread far and wide. Stories of the Red Sea parting, of manna falling from the sky, and of victories over mighty kings. Jericho knew it was only a matter of time before the Israelites would arrive at their gates. In one of the houses built into Jericho's massive walls lived Rahab, a woman of reputation. She was known throughout the city as a harlot, a label that carried both shame and survival. But Rahab was more than the sum of her circumstances. She was shrewd, resourceful, and observant, a woman who listened carefully to the whispers in the marketplace and the tales of a God unlike any other. This God, the God of Israel, seemed real, powerful, and unstoppable. The arrival of the spies. One evening, as the city buzzed with unease over the approaching Israelites, two strangers arrived at Rahab's door. Their cloaks were dusty from travel, their faces guarded but purposeful. Rahab recognized them immediately. They were Israelites, spies sent to scout the city before an attack. This was a dangerous moment. Harboring these men could mean death if they were discovered. But Rahab had been waiting for a sign, an opportunity to align herself with the God she had heard so much about. With a quick glance around, she ushered the men inside and bolted the door behind them. "Why have you come here?" she asked in a hushed voice. The spies were cautious but honest. "We have come to scout the land and the city." Rahab's heart raced. She knew this was her chance. "I know the Lord has given this land to you," she said, her voice steady, despite the fear coursing through her. "A great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. We have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you and what you did to Sihon and Og, the two kings of the Amorites. The Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below." Her confession was bold, a declaration of faith in a God she had never seen, but whose power was undeniable. A dangerous risk. As Rahab spoke, a pounding came at the door. "Open up in the name of the king!" shouted the soldiers. The spies froze, their hands instinctively reaching for their weapons. Rahab acted quickly, hiding the men under stalks of flax on her rooftop. Then, smoothing her dress and composing herself, she opened the door. The soldiers barged in. "Where are the men who came to you tonight? They have come to spy out the whole land." Rahab didn't flinch. "Yes, the men came to me, but I didn't know where they had come from. At dusk, just before the city gates were closed, they left. I don't know which way they went. Go after them quickly. You may catch up with them." The soldiers, convinced by her calm demeanor, hurried off in pursuit. Rahab closed the door, her heart pounding. She climbed to the roof and whispered to the spies, "The soldiers are gone, but you must leave quickly. I will help you escape." The deal before the men left, Rahab made her plea. "Now then, swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family, because I have shown kindness to you. Give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, and all who belong to them, and that you will save us from death." The spies nodded. "Our lives for your lives," they promised. "If you don't tell what we are doing, we will treat you kindly and faithfully when the Lord gives us the land." Rahab lowered a scarlet rope through her window, which hung over the outer wall of the city. "Go to the hills," she instructed, "so the soldiers won't find you. Hide there for 3 days until they return, and then go on your way." As the spies descended, they gave Rahab one final instruction. "Tie this scarlet cord in your window when we come to take the city. Gather your family inside your house. If they stay inside, they will be safe. But if they go outside, their blood will be on their own heads." Rahab nodded, her grip firm on the scarlet rope. "I will do as you say." The fall of Jericho days turned into restless nights as Rahab waited for the inevitable. Then one morning the sound of trumpets shattered the air. Peering through her window, she saw the Israelites marching around the city. For 6 days they circled Jericho, their movements deliberate and strange. On the 7th day they marched 7 times and the sound of the trumpets grew louder. Then came the great shout. Rahab's home shook violently as the mighty walls of Jericho crumbled. Dust and debris filled the air, and the city fell into chaos. But amidst the destruction, Rahab's home stood firm, the scarlet cord fluttering in the breeze like a beacon of hope. The Israelite soldiers stormed the city, but when they reached Rahab's house, they spared her and her family, just as the spies had promised. Rahab and her loved ones were brought safely out of Jericho and given a place among the Israelites. A legacy of faith. Rahab's courage and faith changed her life forever. No longer was she defined by her past. She became part of God's redemptive plan. Rahab would go on to marry Salmon, a leader in Israel, and become the mother of Boaz, an ancestor of King David, and ultimately, Jesus Christ. Her story is a powerful reminder that faith is not about where you've been, but about where you're willing to go when you trust in God. Rahab's scarlet cord, like the blood of Christ, symbolizes redemption, protection, and the power of a God who welcomes all who believe.